Hey everyone, Arthur here. We have another sale of important games on the 3DS happening right now, this time from Capcom, so you already have an idea of what to expect here. Some very relevant franchises like Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, Mega Man, and Phoenix Wright. And I'm calling this a fire sale because the discounts are really significant, up to 90%. It doesn't get much better than that, but unfortunately right now, Europe is once again getting left out of almost the entire sale, with only one exception. There are other games from other publishers currently on discount in Europe. I'll go through them in this video, and in the future, if Capcom includes other games on sale in Europe or any other sale happens anywhere, I will let you guys know. I am checking the 3DS and Wii U in both regions daily, so subscribe to the channel if that interests you. And also follow me on Twitter, cause I'll be making posts of that kind of thing there as well, and I'll be making a video like this whenever a meaningful sale begins. Okay, with all that covered, let's do the intro music and go straight to the interesting games on sale. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to the channel. This is From the Void. Let's begin with the Capcom games, and the first one will be the only one from the publisher currently on discount in Europe. Seriously, I feel so bad for you guys in Europe. I mean, what the hell? Why is Europe being left out of almost all the sales on 3DS right now? What is going on? I seriously do not understand. But anyway, we are talking about Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D, and right away there is one important thing to say about this game. If you don't have it yet, there may be a big incentive for you to buy the digital over the physical copy at this point in time, because by design you are not allowed to delete the save progress in this game. So if you buy a second-hand used copy, you will continue from where the previous owner left off, with all the unlocks and best scores he already had, which for some can even be cool, but for others it may be a turn-off, in which case the digital version could be a much better option than trying to find a sealed copy of this game. Also, there apparently is a way to delete the save file, but it requires a third-party gadget, so it will be a big hassle for most. Now, in terms of gameplay, this is an expanded version of the Mercenaries minigame that many mainline Resident Evil titles featured once you finish the story, with waves of enemies to defeat in arenas and several characters to choose from. It's a cool game if you like this mode. It's also a bit shallow for a full title, but with the 90% discount reducing it from $19.99 to $1.99, the bang for buck is more than justified right now. And due to the save issue I was talking about and the fact that this is a 3DS exclusive, Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D is one to consider for sure. Still on Resident Evil, we have Revelations. This game has a 3DS and Wii U versions both on sale right now. It was originally made for the 3DS and later received several ports for many other platforms. And although those versions including the Wii U have extra features like enhanced HD graphics and a new difficulty mode, the 3DS remains as the only version with the 3D functionality, of course. It was received with a lot of praise at the time as being one of the best looking 3DS games. It includes Circle Pad Pro and C-Stick support for a much better gameplay, and the game itself was also really well received with multiple characters to control, as the story jumps between several time periods, a satisfying difficulty, and the addition of Raid Mode, which is a stage-based side game where you carry ammo and weapons between stages and your character levels up. Revelations is an excellent entry in the Resident Evil series, and with a whopping 90% discount on the 3DS, dropping it from $19.99 to $1.99, or a 80% discount on the Wii U from $39.99 to $7.99, there has never been a better time to get this. following up with DuckTales Remastered. This is a must-have in my opinion, either this remaster or the original NES or even the Game Boy version, or any combination of the three. They're all excellent because they have pretty much the same genius platforming gameplay with a little bit of Metroidvania even, with widely different graphics on each one. Seriously, the gameplay here is excellent and the remastered version has extra features such as the beautiful reworked graphics and soundtrack, and most notably the voiceover from the original cast of actors of the animated series, which is the coolest, most wholesome, heartwarming thing ever, especially considering that several of them were very senior at the time, including Alan Young as Scrooge McDuck, who was 93 at the time and delivered a stellar performance, no joke. You may also remember that this remaster was delisted years ago, and a lot of people lost access to the digital versions they had paid for, which goes to show how important it is to keep your digital games downloaded at all times and backed up whenever possible, because we can't trust these companies to keep our games for us. No sir, we cannot. Luckily, the backlash was enough that Capcom renewed the license and relisted the game on digital storefronts. DuckTales Remaster is going for a measly $374, 75% off from $14.99, which to me is a bargain considering this game's value. Next is the Ace Attorney series. This is a very well-known series of story-driven visual novels where you act both as an investigator as well as a lawyer, defending clients from their accusations. You will be talking to witnesses and searching the crime scenes for evidence to be used in a logic system in court, with cross-examinations trying to find inconsistencies in the accusations. These are awesome games, very unique, full of drama and engrossing stories. There isn't a single bad Ace Attorney game. There are 6 games on this series currently on sale in the 3DS. The first 3 original entries were made available in the Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, with enhancements such as reworked sprites and soundtrack, fixed translation errors, and improved gameplay in the investigation phase. They also feature 3D effects, but they are very simple, just flat sprites against the background. This trilogy was also ported over to more recent platforms such as the Switch and PlayStation 4 with HD graphics, so it comes down to your personal preferences. On the 3DS, this compilation is going for $11.99 with a 60% discount over the regular $29.99 full price. The next game on the series is Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. This one concentrates on Apollo Justice instead of Wright and takes place 7 years after the events on the 3rd game of the original trilogy. It continues the story brilliantly and is another great entry in the series, currently discounted by 75%, going for $4.99. Unfortunately, the next entry in the series available digitally, which is Professor Layton vs. Wright Ace Attorney, is not being discounted, surely because it will have to go through level 5, so there are certainly some obstacles to go over there, and it's probably not a decision that Capcom can make on their own. So we move straight to Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. This one takes place 1 year after the events of Apollo Justice, and the player controls Wright, Apollo Justice, and Athena Sykes, which is pretty cool. This is the first mainline entry to be released on the 3DS. There is a big leap in the visuals department. It's currently going for $4.99, 83% discounted from the $29.99 price tag. And finally, the 6th entry in the series is Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. It is very similar to its predecessor. It's another sequel taking place 1 year after Dual Destinies, and you control the same 3 protagonists. This one is also 83% off, going for $4.99. Moving on to the Monster Hunter series. There are 3 of them on sale right now. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Monster Hunter Generations are available on the 3DS, and Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is both on the Wii U as well as the 3DS. Now, I am ashamed to say that I have never played a single Monster Hunter game in my life. We all have big holes in our backlogs of major series that we never played, and this is certainly one on mine that I plan on fixing in the near future. I am already taking the necessary steps for that, but as of now I can't couldn't really give any personal opinions about them. But needless to say, from the universally positive reception that all of these games received, I can safely say that they are excellent action RPGs with a heavy focus on the weapons and gear more than on the characters themselves, and even more so on the monsters, who are some of the most amazing creatures in video games for sure. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is the definitive version of the Wii original with new gear, enemies, locations, quests, and improved visuals. It's currently 75% off on 3DS, going for $4.99, and 80% off on the Wii U, going for $7.99. Then Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is the only version of 4 that ever made it to the West, and this is a 3DS exclusive. It was seen as the best Monster Hunter at the time of release, with critics praising how many improvements were made on the accessibility side for new players and quality of life enhancements. This is currently 83% off, also going for $4.99. And finally, the last one in the series on the 3DS is Monster Hunter Generations. This one has a Switch Ultimate version with several enhancements, so you may want to consider getting that one instead, but if you are set on having the 3DS version, take advantage now, as it is getting a whopping 87% discount, going for $4.99. Following up with Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition. You may be thinking that this is an inferior version of the home console originals, but they added a bunch of features here that make this one totally unique and could justify a purchase for fans of the series. It includes a stunning 3D mode that actually changes the camera perspective, which is pretty cool, even though it can trip up many of us used to fighting in 2D. But there is also the 3D effect in the regular camera position. There are 2 new difficulty modes, touchscreen functionality, and a bunch of costumes already included that were previously DLCs on the home consoles. This is a really cool version of Super Street Fighter 4, all the more attractive now with a 75% discount, going for $4.99. Next we have Dungeons & Dragons Chronicles of Mystara. This is an excellent beat-em-up compilation from Capcom with 2 great arcade originals, Dungeons & Dragons Tower of Doom and Dungeons & Dragons Shadow over Mystara. First of all, I gotta say that the game starts with Shadow over Mystara already selected, which is a bit weird. If you want to play Tower of Doom, you'll have to press select in the main menu. These parts are excellent, bringing over both games faithfully and adding extra features, such as improved graphics and especially the extra rules you can opt to include that add a welcome replay value. The gameplay is excellent, with many characters controlling widely different from each other, so if you're into beat 'em ups and especially if you have friends and family to play this with, do yourself a favor and get Chronicles of Mystara, that is now going for only $3.74, less than $2 per title, with a 75% discount. Next is Mega Man Legacy Collection on the 3DS. Nowadays I see little reason to get this one, unfortunately, because there are superior compilations available on Switch, PlayStation 4 and other systems that include all Mega Man games from 1 to 10, while this collection has only the 8-bit classics, so only from 1 to 6. Also, I hear that 5 in this compilation has some frame rate and sound issues, but each one of the 6 games is great. They do have some insane difficulty spikes, the Yellow Devil in the the original is the stuff of nightmares, but the gameplay is awesome, with each new entry including new features such as the dash. If you really want to have these 6 games on your 3DS, this collection is going for $4.99, 66% off from the $14.99 full price. That's it for Capcom, so now let's move on to the Square Enix games. Not too many of them right now, but 2 meaningful ones. First off, we have Theatrhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call. This is a great rhythm game with a buttload of music from the Final Fantasy franchise, a lot more than this game's predecessor, and this is one of the best franchises in the planet in terms of music. So just for that, this could pique your interest. The rhythm gameplay here is really well done, with 3 different types of stages and with a great amount of challenge. And all that wrapped around an excellent progression system where you keep unlocking new characters and leveling them up to have a better shot at surviving the toughest challenges. This is a great game. I put dozens of hours into it and came out feeling really good about it. So if you're into rhythm games and like Final Fantasy music, consider getting this one now that it's going for a 50% discount at the $19.99 price tag. Yeah. Even with discounts, Square Enix games are still expensive. The other one is Final Fantasy's take on the Monster Hunter gameplay, Final Fantasy Explorers. As I said, this has a very similar gameplay to Monster Hunter, with the action RPG gameplay focused on hunting creatures, improving your jobs, and a big amount of quests to complete. It's a mesh of genres that makes a lot of sense if you think about it, as there are tons of remarkable monsters in the Final Fantasy series, and the jobs replacing the weapons focus from Monster Hunter also make sense. So this could be of interest if you like Final Fantasy and the Monster Hunter gameplay. It is apparently best played with friends in co-op, but the single player can also be a lot of fun. Final Fantasy Explorers received a more meaningful 60% discount, currently going for $15.99. And unfortunately, that's it for Square Enix games on sale right now. I hope they can add a few more, especially the Dragon Quest games, and if that happens, I will let you know. Following up with an absolutely hidden phenomenal gem, exclusive to the Wii U, 3 Souls. This one surely doesn't look like it, but it's an excellent game, with some unique creativity in its gameplay. It uses the gamepad functionality in clever ways. For instance, see how I suddenly found a platform there? How did I know it was there, right? Well, because I connected to the surveillance camera through the gamepad, moved it around, and found hidden platforms. That's really cool. It's a really well implemented feature in this game, and it happens in a lot of different ways. I will play this one further and capture more footage for a future video where I will include this game, but for now, don't miss the opportunity to grab this one for almost 50% off, going for mere $2. Again, this is a digital only Wii U exclusive. Next is an excellent hidden gem, Go Go Kokopolo 3D. Yeah, I also just found out about this one and was so very much pleasantly surprised. Seriously, this is a good looking game in a top-down view where you control 3 crazy characters in a nonsensical quirky story, and you'll have to approach enemies, scratch them up to make them follow you, then feed them to the snap plant. It's a rather unique style of gameplay, and the big highlight here is on the level design. Top-notch level design. I am impressed. I will continue playing this all the way through to cover it properly in the future, but for right now you should consider getting it for $2.99, 50% off from the original $5.99 price. Next is the Parascientific Escape series. Yeah, pretty much no one ever heard of these, I'm sure. There are 3 games on this franchise, in order of release: Cruise in the Distant Seas, Gear Detective, and Crossing at the Farthest Horizon. And they are all pretty solid visual novels exclusive to the 3DS and digital only that received great scores like 8s. They follow 2 characters who have a wide variety of psychic powers such as telekinesis, chronokinesis, and clairvoyance. Those abilities are implemented in the gameplay to solve puzzles, with you being able to look through walls, move stuff around with telekinesis, and see what happened in that place up to 5 days in the past. It's all pretty interesting. These powers have a limited number of uses, so you gotta be clever on how to use them, because if you make too many mistakes you won't be able to move forward. These are surprisingly positive visual novels / puzzle games, especially given how obscure they are. You can pick each one for only $2.50 as they are going for 50% off. Next is another deeply hidden gem, Adventure Bar Story. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room right away. This game has really lackluster presentation. It is too RPG Maker-like, generic as hell, especially in the dungeons. So right away I can see a lot of people dismissing this game and I can't really blame them for it. I too find this unappealing. But if you can look past it, there is a rather enjoyable gameplay here that mixes traditional turn-based RPG adventuring with a managing sim for your bar and resource gathering for cooking. The cooking here is actually how the characters level up. It is not done by battling. Very unusual. You go out, kill monsters and explore, gather materials, go back to your bar, cook some stuff and level up there. And by discovering new recipes you contribute to your bar surviving longer. I realize this may not sound great, but it translates to a fun and kind of addictive gameplay loop actually. Adventure Bar Story is currently going for $2.99 with a 50% discount. Next is a very weird and unknown game called Ohno Odyssey. Yeah, Ohno Odyssey. That's the name of the game, I am not making this up. Okay, so this is a physics-based puzzle platformer where you have almost no direct control over the Ohnos, the green alien heads, and we'll have to manipulate the environments in order to create a path for them to reach the spaceship at the end. You will place ramps, items to boost their speed or slow them down, springs for them to use when jumping, fire to burn obstacles, and several more. Once you place all the objects, you order the Ohno to start moving, and he basically will follow the line path, obeying the regular laws of physics. You can only control their jump whenever they pass through a spring. This is a budget title, alright, the presentation is somewhat generic, but the game is fun if you're into physics-based puzzle platformers. Plus, it's one of the cheapest titles on the list, going for $1.99 with a 20% discount. Another obscure RPG worth a mention is Brave Dungeon. This is a dungeon crawler RPG in a top-down view with chibi, cutesy characters and an addictive formula of going back to town to upgrade your stuff by using the things you collected while exploring. Among dungeon crawlers, this is a more streamlined option as there are only 5 dungeons that you can tackle in any order, and it will last you up to 15 hours for the main story, which is not long at all for this kind of genre, while there is an additional 10 hours or more of extra content if you wish. Unfortunately, this game received only a 20% discount, currently going for $4. There are several RPGs published by Capcom on sale right now, 4 on the 3DS and another 2 on the Wii U. I am not a big fan of these. I believe they were all made for mobile and ported over to the 3DS and Wii U and seem too generic to me. They just try to do the basics with a retro-inspired look and feel, but no innovation whatsoever. I don't think they are bad games, any of them, just nothing great either. They are mostly 5s or 6s, but apparently they have a good number of fans, so I'll just mention them them briefly in case you're interested. On the Wii U we have Asdivine Hearts and Revanant Saga. Asdivine Hearts is 100% RPG Maker looking, very unappealing graphics in my opinion. The battles are a bit better than mediocre, apparently, with some interesting mechanisms in place, but everything else is just bland. Revanant Saga is the best looking out of all of these Capcom RPGs, with 3D models in combat, but once again fails to provide any excitement in all other aspects. Both are going for $4.99 with a 50% discount on Wii U. Then moving on to the 3DS we have Chronos Arc, which apparently has a lackluster story and is too easy. It's currently going for $4.99. Then Crystareino, or however it's pronounced, seems to be the best one available. This is the only one I'm considering getting maybe. It apparently has a good job system and a decent story. It's also going for $4.99, 50% off. Next is Dragon Lapis. This one is more 8-bit inspired. It's also apparently better than most. It goes for a quirky story with a lot of humor and has a interesting skill system that improves the battle experience a bit. It received a 50% discount going for $4.99. And finally Legna Tactica, which is a strategy RPG this time, but seems very bland and uninspired in every single way, nothing to make it stand out. It's also going for $4.99 with a 50% discount. Next is Kid Tripp. This is an auto runner. I don't gravitate to those really, but this is actually a positive one, as it mixes the uncontrollable running with a very traditional platforming, and it's really well refined for what it is. There's a fairly high challenge to overcome, but then again the game is rather short, lasting for about 1 hour, but then again, it's super cheap right now, going for $1.99, 50% off, so you may get a good bang for a buck here if you like what you see. Moving on to Mercenaries Saga 2 and 3. Those are surprisingly decent strategy RPGs, very good looking pixel art in my opinion, a solid story in both of them, and a nice twist on the tactical gameplay with the introduction of the aggro system, where the more you use a character, the more the enemies will recognize and target them in battle. Cool idea. The only issue here is that there is a compilation on the Switch of all the Mercenaries Saga games, including the original, which is not available on the 3DS, so you may want to favor that option instead. Otherwise they're 50% off, with 2 going for $2.49 and 3 going for $2.99. And that's it for the more meaningful games on sale right now. I am checking the Wii U and 3DS eShops daily now, and will continue to do so until they close next year. I think this is really important since this is our last chance to get all games that we may want before the stores close. So stay tuned to this channel, both here on YouTube as well as on Twitter, so you won't miss out on any new sale like this. And also to find out about a bunch of lesser known games that I cover on pretty much all systems. On 3DS and Wii U for instance, I made a bunch of videos already. You should be seeing them on screen now, so give those a try if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.